Hey AfterBuzzers, welcome back to the Castle Rock After Show. Tonight we are breaking down episode 5, Harvest. The kid is released from Shawshank. Why doesn't he age? And do you hear the ringing? Henry, we've got a lot to talk about, so stick around.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
It's so creepy.
That whole setup was creepy as hell.
Yes.
Just walking slowly in the dark.
What's supposed to be a cute little song is now just gonna get me all scared every time I hear it now.
Poor Shirley Temple. She thought this was an adorable
Yeah, no,
Also,
not anymore.
I have to ask, who's listening, not watching, listening to Shirley Temple in 2018?
I was thinking the same thing on a drive over here.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
On a record, no less.
Yes, on a
On a record player. Yeah.
That's what they do these days,
I
right?
guess that's small. You're
Yeah.
right.
I'm
Records are cool.
Yeah.
Those are cool now.
Guys, can you believe it? We are halfway through this series, and it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like this series is halfway done.
I'm hoping that there's a secret 5 episodes that we don't know about.
Oh, wouldn't that be
It's
great?
gonna be like, oh, there's just 5 more.
They just
We're
show
like, oh, great.
Bonus. I like that. I like bonus.
Couple of bonus episodes.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past J.J. Abrams.
They just show up at midnight. Yeah.
That would
Maybe
be
some
awesome.
unseen footage. Maybe
Yeah.
some little drops here and there. Ah.
All right, guys, I'm your host, Veronica Valencia, and we have a jam-packed show for you today. We are talking The Kid. We have some very special fan shout-outs for you, as well as a few spooky announcements. But before we get into any of that, I have a panel of hosts who are just itching to talk about the show. To my left, we have...
Jorge Pallo.
And Zia Anderson.
And April Dawn.
All right, guys, let's get right into this show. So let's start off with the kid basically rejoining society, which I almost kind of found comical because they're showing him this video, trying to adjust to life once you leave prison. But he didn't really have a life before.
Mm-hmm. As far as we know, yeah. He's
Yeah.
just watching it being like, a job? What are you talking about?
Well, he's suffering from some sort of amnesia right now, too.
Yeah.
He has no idea what is going on. He might as well be a newborn.
Yes, exactly. And he does behave that way. The way he walks, he's so unsure of himself. I love the way, oh God, Bill does this so well. He's got one shoulder up and he kind of keeps his hands in,
that
like
kinda
to his body. Yeah, he's got
creepy
that slightly
Slender Man
crooked.
walk.
Yes, he does that so well. But he's clearly a man who has no idea what's going on in life at
Right.
all.
But constantly observing too. You
Yes.
see his eyeballs moving, and like even while he was watching the video, he's all into it, going, "So this is what people do now." Like he's doing calculations.
I like that comparison of a newborn because he is just like soaking everything in. Everything is new to him, just like a newborn.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely crazy. And I feel like this town has made such a big deal of it. At least Shawshank has made such a big deal about him, trying to keep him a secret. But at this point, he is the least of their worries. They are trying to stop a PR disaster. The town is on fire. There was just a massacre at what was the only really established workplace in this town. So they got a lot more to worry about than letting this guy go free.
And that new word in O.
Oh, I was going to say it's like the apocalypse coming.
Yeah. Well, you notice when he gets let out,
That's
all that stuff starts to be coming up in the news. The helicopter going down, or did it go down? The
It went
helicopter
down.
went
Yeah,
down.
it was
2 people in it died.
Yeah, it was a helicopter of firefighters that were fighting the wildfires that were going on.
And they went down as
Yeah.
soon as he gets let out of prison. Dun dun dun.
So much more. And so Henry gets a call that he's out and he needs a place to stay. And of course, Molly, being the great friend that she is like, hey, stay at the place where I work, my building.
Which is really nice of her, but I couldn't when Jackie goes in there.
Right.
I was like, how did you not tell her that you had a strange man who just got out of prison staying there? She goes there for work. Wouldn't you just give her a quick heads up?
I have a question about that whole thing too. Like, who walks into someone's room and smells their sweatpants?
Yeah,
What
and
was-
lays on their bed.
And lays on their bed. I've
Or
never walked
question
into
why
somebody's
there's a-
random room and smell
Yeah.
their sweatpants. That's
Or even question why there's a bed there now when there clearly wasn't one before.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like Jackie's just one of those free souls who doesn't
care.
Nothing phases her at this point. We see later from her when she kind of goes on an adventure with the kid in her car. She's like, yeah, I kind of want to go back to the time where there was a whole bunch of chaos going on in this town. And it's like, what are you talking about?
It's like, okay, crazy lady.
Yeah, she changed her name to be like her
Uncle.
like her Uncle Jack from
That was
The
a cool
Shining.
one. Yeah,
Yep.
The Shining. I
Yeah.
liked that one, Jackie Torrance.
Jackie.
And I like that they explain that too. And you find out that her real name is actually Diane, which is so much more plain and definitely not as cool.
And something that we also learn about is his interactions with Henry and Molly's interactions with Henry. And this episode actually starts out with a flashback of Henry getting examined because he keeps hearing this ringing in his ear, which we learn was something he was hearing since he was a kid. And I immediately thought, like, is this what the kid means? Do you hear it now? Like, what is this?
Foreshadowing, possibly. Yes,
Oh, just
maybe.
that opening in the MRI machine, right? With the thumb. Have any of you guys ever been in an MRI machine before?
I have, yeah.
It is like so unnerving, and just to see it on screen, the way they did it really well.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I'm not a fan of the MRI machine.
No, it's just so claustrophobic in there. Feel caged. It's
I originally thought that it was because the gunshot went off right next to his ear, which would make perfect
Yeah.
sense. But then they explained that it happened since he was a kid. I was hoping for, in this episode, just a little bit more backstory, although I loved it. I was hoping just for a little bit more of the backstory with Henry. I'm so curious as to what happened to him when he was a kid. And I'm sure or I hope that they'll explain it later. But they didn't touch any of that this episode, and I was like, oh.
No,
I
they
wanna
left
know.
they left a lot of that to be about the kid this time. and
Which
his
they should
past,
have.
Which they should have.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just my own curiosity being like, what happened?
What is up with Lacy and the kid when Lacy went to go and touch him? He took off those rubber gloves, right? And then he went to touch his hand, and then he went to touch his face, like expecting something bad to happen. Was that right before right before he drives his car off the cliff?
I think that was his last
possible.
encounter with him.
That's his last encounter with him.
Wow.
he almost like feels guilty in a sense, or at least he questions himself a lot, like, is what I did right, kind of thing. So
As you would for kidnapping a young boy and putting him in a cage for 27 years.
Who's obviously some sort of demon child.
There's obviously something going on with him, and I really, really can't decide whether not whether he knows he's doing it. I think he knows he's doing it, but whether he is doing it on purpose or not, whether he means to.
Well, yeah, that's a question that I
That
have
I
to,
don't
because he
know.
started to figure out that he was doing it as the episode unraveled, right?
Yeah.
And when he was standing on the top of the old shirt warehouse, right? He said he belonged back in the cage,
Right.
Which means that he had some sort of remorse for what was going on, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You would think.
You would think so.
But then there was that really this scene creeps me out so much when our opening song was playing and he walks into that house, just walks right in, he's just standing there staring. And you notice that it goes from happy birthday party to, it sounded like they were murdering each other in there. Like just his presence caused this insanity in this poor little kid's birthday party, but he was just kind of sitting there.
He sat there,
reveling
he
in
walked
it.
around the house, he walked up onto the roof of the
Yeah.
house. Like he just surrounded the whole evil that was going on in there. Yeah.
And that was an odd one too.
That was actually my favorite scene of the show so far because they do such a good job of making you so uncomfortable and unnerving, but they literally don't show you anything. It's just the voices. It's so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Happy birthday, Gordy.
it'll be one he will never forget after that. No, but when he walked in, my immediate thought was, is he causing this? Because it started out very happy, very fun, like a normal birthday party. And as soon as he was getting closer, their argument was escalating and escalating, and it became crazy chaotic. And then, of course, it just completely blows up. And so I was like,
Maybe
is he
that's what his
causing
thing
this?
is. I think he is.
I'm so...
Maybe not purposely.
Yeah.
I don't think he's causing it purposely, but maybe that's just like what his aura is. He brings out the worst in people.
See, I was going to say, I'm very curious on if it is him causing all the chaos, and if so, how? Because we have speculated in the past that maybe it's some type of human contact or interaction that causes something to happen with the guy who was also in solitary with him, and then with Dennis, we speculated that. But he just walked. His just mere appearance being there maybe could have caused this, or we don't know. And so I'm so curious on how his powers work, because clearly he is something. He has something.
He's some sort of a benevolent force. I wonder if it's getting stronger now that he's out.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Because when he was confined, then it would just be by touch, and now that he's out, he's got this sort of circumference around him that just oozes out.
Maybe it also has something to do with sunlight, which he said never let him see the sunlight again, and now he's out in the sunlight.
Yeah.
Also, when he was naked, I'm sorry. This is
Back to the
By the
important
way,
stuff.
Skarsgård was naked in case nobody noticed.
You see his butt. I have to know, was he showering or was he just being naked? Was there a shower in there?
I think he just wanted to be.
He just wanted to take his clothes off.
I don't know. After his last shower, I don't know if he's like wanting to go near a shower again.
Right.
So maybe he's just like, I just want to be butt naked.
Taking all this stuff off. Forget these clothings.
Yeah, let
Butt
me be
naked
free.
and creep on this girl that just walked into my house and smelled my...
Oh my gosh, could you imagine just like if you're in that room and this man just comes walking in? Of
I
course.
mean, if it was that man,
Yeah.
not the worst. But yes, it would still be weird.
But
I'd be
again,
like, what's happening?
But again, Jackie, she doesn't care.
No.
She's free
she
spirit.
just took him in her car and started smoking weed with him. She's like, hey, we're just going to go hang out and smoke some pot, and I'm going to talk to you like nothing. And he's just sitting there like...
Okay.
Sure, lady.
Yeah.
what are we doing?
The other interesting thing about the kid is that because the board at Shawshank did not want information about him to be revealed, nobody in this town really knows that he is this prisoner. So he can walk around the town and no one will really give him looks, or like Jackie can, smoke pot with him and she's not questioning it a bit because he's probably to her just a weird, quiet kid.
She's like, where did this man come from? I will take him for my own.
He's interesting in kind of a creepy way. Sure.
But she's looking for that. I mean, she wants to go back to when all of the weird shit was happening.
Yeah.
She's a weird shit fangirl is what
Yeah.
she is.
I think that, and probably it's such a small town where so little is going on. She's probably like, just any sort of excitement, anything, please. So she's like, if bad things happen here, at least that's something, rather than nothing.
This episode specifically, I just want to give another shout out to Molly. I feel like it's through Molly's character we're learning the most about everyone. It's through her that we got a glimpse into Henry's past. It's because of her we kind of see that the kid is having these destructive thoughts, because I don't know about you guys, but when she was on the roof, I assumed all that destructive noise we were hearing was the voices in Molly's head, not his. At first I thought it was his, but then I thought it's probably Molly.
No,
Okay.
I thought it started off as his because he went up to the roof to begin with, and then as she started to come up, she started to hear it too.
Yeah.
Right. So it was the both of them at that point, and then she gave us some more insight into Henry too. We didn't know Henry had a son.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Right. We just found that out this episode. Now we know Henry's got a abandoned kid out there somewhere.
Assuming in Texas, but maybe not. Yeah.
Yeah, again, we learned so much about everyone else through Molly. And again, it was kind of confirmed that that noise was most likely the noise we were hearing from Molly, because again, she has to prove to Henry that something's off with this kid, because Henry believes that this kid just got dealt a wrong hand. He believes in due process. He believes in all of that.
But he's still a little bit suspicious of him. He's like, still like, I don't know, because obviously they don't know anything about him. Right. But he's still trying to do the right thing.
And he said he didn't know if he was the banger strangler.
Right. Well, I was like, you just made that up.
Yeah, I just made that up. I don't know. I just don't know if I wanted to stay with my friend.
That was so awkward.
My friend.
My friend.
Yeah.
I was like, did she feel flattered? Did she want him to say something else? Most likely.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. She's like, friend, how dare you?
Yeah, nice save, Henry. Nice save.
Yeah.
Not.
I've helped you so much. I'm more than a friend. That's probably definitely what she's...
Come on.
Yeah, that's definitely what she's thinking. So, all right, before we continue on in the show, I believe that we have a very spooky announcement for all of you.
Spooky announcements. Okay.
Gotta prepare for this
I'll have
one,
to prepare
guys.
for this one. Oh, the spooky music, too. Hey, AfterBuzzers. Our network produces after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows. From dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. There is no network that works harder to serve television fans, but we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. And if you're worried, so hit that subscribe button now for this channel and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did so in the comments and we'll thank you on air. For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the spookiest ESPN of TV talk.
Every time. Oh,
Love it.
so good.
Chills.
Love it. Love it. And we really do see your comments, and we appreciate every single one of them. We appreciate you tuning in every week to our show. And I believe April actually has some special fan shout-outs she wants to give real quick.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to Joseph Grigsby, Dante Ferris, Kate Cronin, Mega Movies, Cody Williams, and Cass LeGault and Astrid Hofferson is throwing out some great theories and great conversations in our chat right now. So thank you. I'm reading all of them. I love hearing your ideas and comments. You're doing great. So keep commenting and I might give you a shout out on the show.
Thanks, April. All right, guys, let's we covered this a little bit before, but let's talk about the kid's past. We learn a little bit more about how he came to be in the cage this episode. We get the flashback of, let's just start off with Pangborn. At the very end of the episode, we get the flashback that Pangborn, as a young cop, pulls over Lacy, who has the kid in his trunk, and when he looks in, he basically makes the realization that the kid from all those years ago when he was a young cop is the exact same looking kid that's roaming the streets now. And my mind was like, what?
Yes.
27 years
I know.
later.
I want to know what Dale Lacy said to him to convince him to, shut the back of the car, nothing to see here. Like, how do you convince someone of this? Like, oh, by the way, I think this is like a
Sheriff,
demon, a spawn of Satan, so just let me go. What did you say to him?
No person normal or person in their right mind would be like, oh yeah, sure, go ahead and kidnap this young-looking child that you have in your trunk. No big deal. What?
He just gave him the keys too and said, "Here, go ahead, open the trunk. Check it out. You'll take one look." And I think that's what it was. Is that one look? As he saw him, because he saw the look on the young Pangborn's face too. Was just like, "Holy yes, that is."
Also,
That's what.
On your way.
But that's what made me a little confused, is because he did have this look that he was terrified. But when looking at the kid now, he looks normal, a little pale, a little socially awkward, but normal for the most part. So I'm just like, did he really look the same, or was there something more about him that we just don't know yet that really freaked him out?
And maybe since he does have this amnesia and he doesn't know who he is now, he was someone before that maybe wasn't as good. Like maybe the reason that he's not necessarily good now, but possibly a little bit
Well, he served his time.
remorseful, possibly a little bit remorseful, is because he doesn't know who he is. Maybe when he fully realizes who he is, he'll know. Although some of it came back to him with the piano.
Yeah.
He said, "I remember." It's
Yeah,
like, do you
that
remember?
was set up from the scene when Henry took him to the doctor, right, and had him all checked out. And you noticed that they did that whole repetition thing again.
Yes, with Henry.
That they did with Henry. Yeah, I'm going to give you 5 words. You repeat them back to me. They did the same exact thing with him. Same words too. Interesting.
Also, did you guys notice, and I don't know if this was something I just didn't notice in previous episodes and I only noticed it in this, or if they're also changing, because I thought they were darker. He had 2 different colored eyes. One was blue and one was a greenish color.
I did not notice that.
And the car scene, when he was sitting in the car, they did a close-up of his face, and I was like, why are his eyes 2 different? Were they always like that? Or is that something that's also changing?
Oh.
I don't know. Now I want to go back and look at the other episodes and see.
Yeah, do that. Let us know next episode, because I'm definitely gonna go look back. That did not even occur to me.
I didn't catch that.
It was a really, really subtle one. It's just because I was staring into his face. Nothing. That's nothing creepy there, guys.
Going back on Pangborn, Astrid Hofferson said, sadly, in a small town, lots of people turn the other way for others, as Zaleski said earlier, which is totally true. And I feel like there are so many bad things going on in this town, and a lot of people are ignoring it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, think of everybody at the Shawshank prison. They
Turning
just
the other way.
Yep, letting all these horrible things happen. They're like, well, whatever.
So then horrible things were always happening.
Yeah.
Regardless as to whether or not the kid was, locked in the bottom of the prison or not.
And also, was he living in the town before that? Where did he
I'm
find
so
him?
curious. Going back to Lacy, though, and when he was keeping the kid in the cage, he has a very interesting remark where he says, the kid looks small next to Faith. And when I heard this, it kind of made me think that Lacy, in his mind, is trying to justify what he did. He's trying to justify that the means outweighs the end result. That this is what's best for the greater good.
Yes.
So he might be keeping a kid locked in his cage, a kid who seemingly has no powers, who's not hurting anybody, who doesn't even speak, and he's keeping this kid here, but he believes he's a demon and it's for the greater good.
Well, he talked about hearing the voice of God, too, right? And he considered building that cage as building his ark. So it's all like a lot of biblical theme that he seemed to be a very, very much a man of faith, Lacy.
Yeah. And I wonder if he really did hear something or if he was legitimately crazy. But you can't deny there's something up with this kid.
No,
I
we
believe
can't.
Molly. She says there is something up with this kid.
There's something up with this kid, yeah.
And I trust Molly's instinct on that one.
She's been right about everything else, yeah.
Molly so far has been the most well thought out character, probably my favorite character up to this point. Again, just because it's through her that we learn so much about everyone else. Molly, in her own weird way, is like a very helpful person, a very rational person in this crazy town.
Absolutely, I agree. They kind of start the season off making her seem like she's nutty or she's a little bit crazy. She's anxious, and so you think she's gonna, but she ends up, to me, being one of the more normal characters in the show.
Yeah, she's the most sane one in the whole town because everybody else is losing it. I mean, poor Ruth jumping off the bridge.
Oh yeah.
Oh, is that whole thing?
Before we get into Ruth, which is something else we're going to talk about, I actually want to talk to you all about iTunes. So, of course, we just mentioned to you that you can always watch us on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, but we also always remember you on iTunes. You can go there, listen to our show, give us a review, give us a rating, and give us a comment. And in fact, we have a comment right now. Miss Perry, she says, I love this series. The points that are brought up are great. I love everyone's opinion and all the connection to Mr. King's movies. Thank you, Miss Perry. Aww. We love that you are enjoying the show. We love that you went to iTunes as well to listen to our show. So again, catch us on YouTube, listen to us on iTunes. We love the comments. We love seeing how you guys are enjoying our show as well as Castle Rock. So that being said, let's move on to Pangborn and Ruth.
Yeah.
30 years.
They're a sweet couple. Yeah. I see Henry sort of softening to them, even though he was very upset about it at first and obviously has a dislike of Pangborn. I saw him softening up to it a little bit, especially when he walked into the room and Pangborn was like, I just love you so much. And you could just sort of see him be like, oh. Yeah. And I feel like it's nice for his mom to have someone, too. Like, wouldn't you want someone to be there watching her and taking care of her?
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
I feel like Pangborn is in such a difficult situation because, as we have learned, he knows about the kid from all those years ago with Lacy. And so I think in his mind, he's very wary of the fact that Henry is trying to help him out when he knows something is up with this kid, but he doesn't want to necessarily interfere and get in the way because he cares for Ruth and he doesn't want to hurt her.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, that's the thing with Pangborn is he knows too much and yet still, according to the kid, knows nothing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You still have no idea what's going on here, do you? No, I don't. Tell me more. Wait, I want to know more.
Like,
no,
tell
I don't.
me now.
You cut it there? What? But yeah, Henry also, you could see that he was starting to soften up a little bit, even by putting up the cameras.
Yeah.
Right? And saying, we can both watch her through this app, so we can both keep an eye on her.
Yes.
Right? So he wasn't just, so it looks like he gave up on the idea of taking her to Texas with him, which is nice.
Yeah.
You know?
And it seems like Pangborn has a pretty good grip on what's happening and can take care of her. The only thing that I would worry about in that situation is that Pangborn is also getting much older.
Yeah.
And it's hard to look after somebody that's always forgetting things and jumping off of bridges when you're
Yeah.
that age. Yeah,
That was
unfortunately.
crazy. I remember that scene in the trailer, but at no point when I watched the trailer did I think that would have been Ruth.
Yeah, no.
No.
Absolutely not. That's so true.
And the dog barking and the speech being given and those. I know those people were wearing those surgical masks because of the wildfires, but they still look spooky as hell in that, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
And the two spooky people that were like watching from afar, like, who are they?
Yeah.
And who was it? Was it Henry that looked back at them? Like,
Yeah.
what are you guys doing here?
What's up with you? You guys give me the creeps.
I did find it very sweet, though, when Pangborn was telling Henry about how he kind of came back and was able to finally express his feelings and be with Ruth, who he always wanted to be with. I thought that was very sweet. He was talking about how he got her a ring, but she felt like she didn't deserve it. And it just broke my heart because, again, we see that there is this dynamic and this dynamic between Henry and Pangborn. But all Pangborn wants
He just wants
is
to take care of Ruth.
He just wants her to be safe.
Yeah. And it makes me wonder also more to Henry's father's character that why would she say she doesn't deserve happiness? I really feel like there's something really dark there in that relationship and in that house.
Well, yeah, I think it still goes back to like Henry disappearing and the Desjardins and that whole thing. Like something culty was probably going on back then. Yeah. More shall be revealed. Tell me more.
No.
There's just so many questions about this, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, was Ruth having a moment? Do you think she was kind of overcome by something that made her want to jump off?
I think it was the dog.
It was the dog.
Yeah,
The dog?
it took her back to the Cujo thing happening because the dementia, her brain isn't all there. So in that moment, I don't think she was in the present. She was in the past when that whole storyline was happening. At least I'm guessing.
No, that makes sense.
You brought up a really good point because I guess that clarifies my question was do you think it was of some supernatural power or was it because of her dementia?
Maybe a combination of both.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, what was her line in the hospital about things never dying in this town?
Yes.
Was that like a Pet Cemetery callback? I don't know.
That's what I was thinking also.
Yeah.
Is that the same? There haven't been any so far on the show, at least that I've seen or looked up.
No,
But
maybe that was because
Yeah.
I mean she's just thinking about the fact that the barking dog, kicked in her dementia because she's supposed to be fine in the mornings, but that must have just taken her out of that for that moment, and then she's just started walking a trail right up to the bridge.
Yeah.
Speaking of Pet Cemetery, maybe it would be a good time for our Easter eggs.
Oh, yeah. We do have some this episode.
What do you got?
I had to look these up again. Because I caught a couple of them. We caught the Cujo one, obviously, where she jumps off the bridge. That's one. And then, our Easter egg music. Ooh,
Yeah.
Josh,
Going on a
thank you.
hunt, guys.
Yeah.
An Easter egg hunt.
Love it. So before the kid is released from Shawshank, he watches an old educational video about going back in society when you leave the prison. And the video is hosted by a man named Lou Hadley. In the Shawshank Redemption, a violent guard has the name Byron Hadley. And one can assume that Lou Hadley was his offspring, basically, as there's a little tie in there. And let's see, the next one is...
Byron Hadley was the one that used to beat the hell out of Andy Dufresne.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, that's him. A doctor tells Henry she might be able to get the kid a bed at Juniper Hill, and that is the asylum first mentioned in Stephen King's It. Henry Bowers, the bully who has it in for the Losers Club, ends up there as an adult, and it's also mentioned in several other of his works, including Needful Things, The Dark Half, and The Tommyknockers. Even some more, I think, as well.
Spooky.
And then, let's see, during Alan's speech at the bridge naming ceremony, he talks about how he once wanted to be a magician. So apparently he mentions several times that King does, that Pangborn is an amateur magician who is very good at sleight of hand. And he uses his magician skills to help stop the demonic Leland Gaunt at the end of Needful Things. So that's actually like ties into whole other stories. And then, of course, the one we already talked about is the Jackie story.
All right.
How she's related to Jack Torrance and she changed her name, which I thought was really cool. I love that one.
And during that conversation, she also brings up the Strangler, and she talks about the killing dog again with Cujo.
Yes. Yes.
The 80s. She wants to go back to the 80s. Everybody wants to go back to the 80s. The simple time.
So, the other one is when the kid is standing on top of the roof at the shirt factory, and we can hear the barrage of thoughts and sounds that he appears to be hearing. And there's a barking dog, which may or not be Cujo. And there's someone clearly asking, want to see a dead body, which has to be a direct pull from the body, which, Stand By Me. That's the same movie. That's all I got on this one. Okay.
That's still a pretty good
That's a
list.
lot
Yeah,
of
that was a
stuff.
lot.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give a shout out to Astrid again because she said she's loving the Great Pumpkin music,
Thank you.
which is a direct pick from Veronica.
I don't know. I was thinking of spicing it up a bit. We had a really good spooky announcement. Get some background music for our really, really awesome Easter egg hunt.
I like it.
I like it.
Yeah, no, those are great. I feel like I need to go back and brush up a little bit because I feel like as the series is going on, I feel like I'm picking up less and less. But maybe that's just me.
Well, and also it might just be because, and I actually feel the same, because you're so immersed in the story and what's going on that you're not necessarily picking up those little things because you're too clearly focused on the kid and all of the things that are happening. At least that's what I've noticed for myself.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen pieces that I was like, that's probably an Easter egg. I'll look it up later.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in the action and what's happening here right now.
Right.
But as you brought up last week, Stephen King said that's how you should be watching the show. Don't focus on the Easter eggs. Don't really focus how everything is trying to be tied in. Just enjoy the story that's being told.
Yes.
And I am.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Ooh, wait, another Easter egg. So 27 years, right? 27
Oh,
years
yeah.
is the whole It thing.
Yes.
And didn't you say something about Bob Gray?
Yeah.
About him possibly being still Bob Gray, so there's another theory.
Yeah.
Right?
That's actually a really good one.
Was that a theory from one of our viewers?
Yes. I believe that was Cass Legault again, who is just having all the best theories and dropping so much knowledge. She's doing great, so thank you so much for all of
Drop
this.
that knowledge, Cass.
Yeah.
Do it.
Well, I mean, speaking of theories, we can actually go into those. I think we should get into some predictions for next week. And we can also bring up some of the fans as well.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I don't know about you guys. I still think Henry is some supernatural entity. I think, and maybe with this week, because of the ringing in his ears, maybe it's starting out as ringing, but maybe he is supposed to get to the level that the kid is at, and maybe even Molly, where he's supposed to hear and feel the destructiveness going around him. But right now, it's like maybe he has suppressed powers or forgotten memories, obviously. I don't know whether he is partners with the kid or he, is like the master of the kid or the kid's the master of him. I think the two are very similar. And maybe the kid is trying to wake Henry up. I still believe he's some supernatural entity of some sort.
That's a really good
I like
one.
it.
That's
I
a
like
really
it.
good one,
That's
yeah.
Good. That's a good theory.
Come on.
It's like the
let it be right.
gunslinger and the man in black kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like there needs to be a good and a bad kind of force going on out there. I think what we're going to see in the next episode is Pangborn is about to make a deal with whatever the hell he is, the devil. He says he's not the devil, but I'm still not convinced. Because he says that he can help Ruth.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yes.
He says that he can help Ruth, and you're gonna see Pangborn strike some sort of deal with him in order to help Ruth through her dementia.
He is going to do anything for that woman.
Yes.
He will make a deal with him, even if it, goes against Henry's wishes in a hot second.
Absolutely.
I think in the next episode, this isn't like some crazy plot theory or anything like that, because oh my God, anything could happen. And I'm just more curious than anything. But I think in the next episode, we're going to find out more about the kid. That he is indeed something else. That he's maybe the Antichrist. Is that,
Right.
you know, something? The Antichrist is like the devil, right? But no,
The
it's different.
Antichrist is I think it is. Well, I don't know. It depends on who you ask, I guess. Nostradamus, maybe?
Yeah, yeah. I think he's something like that.
He's definitely some sort of demon or something.
Something.
My biggest question, and we've talked about, is he doing it on purpose or can he not control it? And Astrid Hofferson has a great theory. My theory is that Bill Skarsgård is going to trigger something big when brought to Ruth to heal her, and also Molly's finally going to tell Henry she killed his dad.
That does have to come up.
Yeah, that's going to have to come up.
I wonder if that will be a trigger for Henry. Maybe that will wake him up or something.
Yeah.
And then Cass Legault said, the kid quotes Revelations 19:12, which is about the second coming, so I wonder if there is an apocalypse dynamic.
I also did have that theory. Like, as soon as he stepped out, I was like, it's an apocalypse. It's going to happen. He's out.
And slowly things are getting worse and worse for the town. It's true. Yeah. Although things did start going bad, like when Henry got there too. So like you said, there has to be, or there possibly is some weird connection between them.
That's something else I'm excited for, because I know at some point in these next few episodes, we have to get a Henry standalone episode.
Yes.
Because we haven't gotten one with him where it's just him. We've gotten it through, you know, Pangborn. We've gotten it through Molly. But I'm ready for his standalone episode.
Yes.
I'm also ready to find out why Lacy told the kid to ask for Henry in the first place. We still don't know why that.
So Lacy knew something about Henry that
What
we
did
don't
Lacy
know.
know about Henry that we
Yeah.
don't know? That's,
There's just so many questions, you guys. That's all I have. I don't even have theories. I just have more and more questions.
We want to know.
We need to know. But
More information.
I think this kind of goes back to the theory that I had last week, where I thought maybe Henry's dad assumed the same about Henry that Lacy assumes about the kid. And so maybe, I don't know, maybe Lacy thinks Henry is like him and wants to try and get him back to take care of him before what ended up happening to Lacy.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Oh, man.
Who knows? But something I also forgot to mention that I think will come in the next couple episodes is Lacy did mention to the kid that he told him some crazy story the first night that he was there. And I'm really curious to know what that crazy story is, because we know the kid does not talk.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. What the hell is that story?
See, guys? More questions.
Wait a minute.
This Cass Legault guy, or girl, I don't know who.
Yeah.
But, oh my God.
So the kid
On fire.
So the kid was abducted by Lacy around the same time Henry disappeared. So maybe he showed up when he got to the cage.
My mind is just going all kinds of places. I don't
There's
know.
so much knowledge being dropped in this chat right now. I can't.
No, but that's a good thing. We love that you guys are talking. We love that you're theorizing of what's to come. This is what gets us fueling, because it gets us thinking too, because every time Zia comes in here with her Easter eggs or April is reading the theories, I'm just like, I didn't notice that. Tell me more. And we absolutely love that. So thank you so much. Well, guys, any final thoughts?
Just more questions. Just more questions. I just need to know.
Inquiring minds want to know.
And I'm very excited. We're way too soon for this. I really hope there's a season 2.
Oh, there's gotta be.
There's gotta be.
There's
I hope
gotta
they can keep
be.
going with this. I don't know where it's going to end in 5 episodes. We still have 5 episodes to get there, but I'm already thinking about a season 2.
J.J. Abrams has talked about it, and he wants to create an anthology series. So go through different time periods throughout the town of Castle Rock. So it probably won't be the same characters.
But still
So
cool.
this will be a closed story then.
Yeah, it should wrap up at the end of the season.
Oh, that makes me so excited.
We'll have the answers. Thank you. Because that was giving me a little bit of anxiety. If they leave me with like a season finale and then I gotta wait another
year
to find out why.
Yes.
That was my thing too. I was like, I was okay if they would leave me on a little cliffhanger, but I want the majority of the story to wrap up, because there are so many loose ends, so many questions as of right now, that if they were to just leave too many of those open, I don't know what I do, guys.
I'd be sitting in my bed at night going, waiting for the next season.
We turn into the kid.
Waiting for
Yeah,
the next
just like be
season.
silent, all creepy, walking around.
We just sit in our
Have a
corner.
little lunch. And
My fiance's
some
like,
bread.
you haven't been to work in 3 months. I'm like, shh.
Yeah, Zia, what's the hunch?
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, guys. It's a great show, guys.
Yeah, you guys are fun.
You guys are fun.
But unfortunately, that is all the time that we have today. Again, thank you so much for tuning into our after show. We appreciate it so much. Everyone, where can the fans find you on the internet?
They can find me all over the social media at the El Jorge, and also I do the Thursday night Queen of the South show here at AfterBuzz.
All right. And you can find me on Instagram at Zia_land. It's spelled XIA_land. And then also, I'm starting Sinner tomorrow night. I believe that also tapes at 7 p.m., which I'm really excited for. And Marvel TV Weekly, 10 p.m. on Sundays.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at April13Dawn.
And again, I'm Veronica. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at It's Me, Veronica_B. You can also catch me on the Attack on Titan after show Sundays now, I believe, at 6. But stay tuned on that one. As well as the Outpost after show on Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Pacific time. Until then, again, thank you so much for joining in, and we will be back for episode 6. Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.